Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today's video I am very excited about because I'm actually doing a collaboration. Now I am collaborating today with a good artist named AllJ Art. Now she does some pretty fantastic artworks, and she does a lot of videos on YouTube as well. And yeah, I reached out to her and asked if we could do a collab because I thought it would be a lot of fun, and it definitely was. So today we decided to do a little bit of a sketch and swap, or a line art swap. And yeah, we decided to draw something for each other to finish off. Now I was thinking of what to draw, and I kind of wanted to do a sort of storybooky kind of fantasy style drawing for her. And I decided to do like a young girl, a little small girl, and she's like with her friend, which is either a wolf or a dog, I'm not sure. Perhaps my collab partner can figure that out. And she's basically up on like a hill or a mountain or something, and there's a bit of a city skyline in the background. Now I tried to keep the city part a bit vague, because I thought it would be really interesting to see what my collab partner does with that. And yeah, it was a fairly fun drawing to do, and it's funny because I actually decided to sketch it digitally on my iPad just because I thought that it would be easy to clean up. And the funny thing is, she actually decided to sketch digitally as well, which is really cool. So yeah, here's the sketch that I did. And I probably really like the rocks in the foreground. And yeah, here's the sketch that she did for me. And I was so surprised at that sketch because it's a little more realistic than I usually do. My style's a little bit more stylized, a bit more cartoony. So it was pretty refreshing to do something that was more of a realism or semi-realism vibe to it. So I decided to take the sketch, and I made the color of the sketch purple because I wanted to print it out, and I didn't want like crazy black outlines because it was more of a semi-realism vibe. So yeah, I decided to make the line art purple. And I really like purple for the line art because, to be honest, it works very well with the skin, and also gives the whole piece a softer, more of a warm look to it. And yeah, it was pretty fun. And yeah, I started off colouring in the skin with my Copic markers as usual. If you're wondering, I'm actually colouring this on Express It blending card like normal. And yeah, I used my normal skin tone colours for the skin, and I also used a little bit of purple and a little bit of pink as well. Mainly the purple was for the shadows because I like to add a bit of purple in the shadows. I think it makes it seem a little bit more realistic. And yeah, for the hair, I used my sand colored marker, and then I layered some other little brown colors over the top as well. I tried to keep it natural looking, and I used flicks of my marker, you know, the brush pen tip. I love the brush pen tip on my markers. And yeah, I'm actually very surprised and happy with how this hair turned out, because usually my hair is a little bit more crazy and like fantasy type, but yeah, I really like the look of this. For the lips, I decided to use my lipstick natural colored marker, and I really like that color because it's like dark, but it's also really nice. For the dress, and that was probably my favorite part of this, when I first saw the line art, I said to her, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have a lot of fun doing all the folds of the dress, and I definitely did. I decided to keep it light and happy, so I used a bit of pinks and a little bit of purple for the dress. And yeah, I had so much fun coloring in that because, I don't know, I was trying to like keep it soft and like nice looking, but also put a lot of shadows and highlights in there as well. And I tried to make sure I blended them out really well because this is a more semi-realism kind of illustration, so I wanted it to be less cel shady. And yeah, to be honest, I just went to town on it, and it was a lot of fun. And to be honest, it did take a little bit long, but I just chucked some music on, you know, I listened to some streams, and yeah, I just had a ball with it. It was actually a lot of fun. I decided to use a lot of light pinks, a bit of purple, and I actually used a more of a pinky orangey tone as well in the highlights because I wanted it to still be really warm. And yeah, that dress is probably the longest part of the illustration I spent the most time on because I really wanted to make it stand out and make it really nice. And I think it worked pretty well. So yeah, if you came over from her channel and you wanted to say hello to me, hi, my name is Sarah and I do lots of illustrations here on YouTube. And yeah, I do lots of fan art, and I also like to do my own original illustrations as well. I do a lot of Pokemon, so be mindful of that. But I like to draw things that I love and that I have passion for, so there you go. So now we're finally done with the dress. That took a long time, to be honest. I decided to colour in her eyes blue because I wanted a little bit of a pop of a cool colour, but very minimal. And I decided to do the background in my buttercup yellow marker. I really like that colour because it's very light, but it's also desaturated just a little bit. So it's a very smooth, creamy kind of colour. And yeah, I just went over the whole background of that, minus the flowers. And I tried to make sure that it was even. Obviously, it's not going to be perfect, but I kind of like the imperfections. I think it kind of gives it a little bit more interest. And yeah, for the flowers, I layered some pinks over it just to give it a little bit of a hint to the shadows and highlights, and then I also added a little bit of purple into the shadows as well. And I did this because I wanted to keep the flowers light and like kind of not as crazy, like detailed, so I wanted the figure to stand out a bit more. But I was also planning to use pencil over the top of those, to be honest. And here I am with the pencils now. I mainly use them just to add a little bit more shadows and highlights, but as well I wanted to do a little bit of line art over the top. Just to solidify the flowers a little bit and give it a little bit more detail as to the petals. And after I did that, I just added a little bit more shadows to the dress with the pencils and just a little bit the touch-ups here and there. Sometimes I like to add a little bit extra with the pencils over the top. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really did love collabing, and I thought it was a lot of fun, and yeah. So yeah, make sure you go check out AllJ Art's channel and subscribe to her. She's awesome, and yeah. Thank you so much for collaborating with me. I had a lot of fun, and yeah, I can't wait to see what you do with my illustration. And if you're new here, welcome, and make sure you hit like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. So yeah, bye everyone!